Hello and welcome to day 2 of the challenge. Hopefully now that this is the second day that you've gone through this is already starting to become more comfortable for you. There's no further instructions for today, but there is a theme for the day. And that is a theme of gratitude. The idea behind this is to sort of say, we can take pleasure and we can take enjoyment from having a lot of things. And over time, if there are a lot of things to be had, your pleasure centers kind of become numb to the cornucopia. I wish I could find a less pretentious way of saying cornucopia. All the stuff, loads of things that are there. And the appetite kind of becomes stretched. And so you just need more and more and more in order to feel that same level of satiation and happiness and enjoyment. With this thing called gratitude, you can invert that process, that entropy, that degradation towards just needing more and more and more by feeling happy and appreciative for less and less. Why would anybody do that? You know, if you're inside of a consumerist culture where people just think more is better, we're totally entrained, indoctrinated and brainwashed to think more is better. And often more is better. More options is more freedom, typically, but not always. Also, there's psychological research that indicates that more options is more stress. And that the more choice you give people, that there's like, if you have one choice, that's no good. If you have 3 choices, that's good. And then you start getting beyond 3 choices, the goodness and the enjoyment actually doesn't just go up and up and up because it becomes stressful to make that choice. You then have a responsibility and you have the pain of opportunity cost, known as FOMO, the fear of missing out. In economics, that's called opportunity cost. Because if I choose vanilla, I didn't choose pistachio, chocolate, and strawberry unicorn poo. So with gratitude, there's a sanity-inducing cleanse of that kind of stretched, greedy desire for more and more. Because you start to follow a structured, ordered discipline of paying conscious attention to that which you do have and feeling grateful for it. Feeling grateful. We're still in the realm of emotions here. We're still in the realm of how do we feel about our reality? How do we interact with our reality? How do we order our reality and our perceptions so that we can be sane and calm and tranquil and create a good life for ourselves and the people around us? If you have very low gratitude and very high entitlement, no matter how much stuff you have, you'll feel pain, because you'll always feel like you're not being given enough. That's the dilemma and the trap of the spoiled child. Very high entitlement, very low gratitude, very low appreciation. No matter what you give them, there's always something better, because in the world of form, in the world of things, there is always something better. You can never really have the best of anything. The best Ferrari today, once you've driven it 2 or 3 times, is no longer the best, because it's now a driven Ferrari. So just by you having it, it diminishes in value. And the best Ferrari today will probably be trumped by the best, I don't know my cars, I don't know why I went this way, whatever thing next week when they come out with a new model, which is how that system operates. That's how that business operates with high, very, very high-end luxury cars. That's how they trump each other all the time. So you never really have the best of anything, but you're constantly craving the best of something. So it's almost like a Greek god's punishment. You're constantly striving for the thing that you can never have. At the other end of the spectrum, if you diminish entitlement, you say, well, I really am not entitled, or there's a few things I'm entitled to, like rights, respect, to be treated politely, I guess, that's what you're entitled to, but not that much. You've reduced your entitlement down. You've engaged in a practice, a discipline, and a reframing of your life towards one that has more humility built into it. So your entitlement comes down, and then you work a daily discipline where you bring your gratitude up so that you feel good for the few things that you do have. Do your legs work? Well, actually mine don't properly, but they work to a degree. They might not work at all. They could be worse. You know, I have knee issues. Part of it is genetic, some of it is injury, but it could be worse. I could have no legs. Do my lungs work? Can I breathe? Can I move? Can I see? Can I hear? What do I have physically? Do I have time? Do I have freedom? To what extent do I have freedom? Is there a comparative situation that I've been in where I had less freedom? If I compare my life and the extent of my freedom right now to other people's, to other persons, do I have more than they do? Is there something I can appreciate around that? Is there something I can appreciate and feel grateful for in this very moment? Am I glad to be here right now doing this? Didn't think about that before I started rolling. Well, this is a privilege. I get to do this. This is my job. I get to try and help people. That's cool. I get to be here in the Czech Republic, shooting in a studio in Prague. That's pretty cool. You know, I used to clean toilets for a living. I used to be a bouncer in a nightclub and punch people and get punched for £9 an hour. That was pretty shit. And I'd work all night and it sucked. I used to be a taxi driver. Some really rough areas around Birkenhead, Rock Ferry and New Ferry. I don't have to do that anymore. That's pretty cool. When you start to think this way, in this other modality, where entitlement is brought down and gratitude is brought up, and you really go there, you really take a deep dive into this, you can think, actually, life is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's been a lot harder and a lot worse. If you look at the entire span of humanity, it was way, way harder for pretty much everyone who's ever lived at any point in history aside from now. So we've got it pretty good in a certain way. There are certain things that are here that you can be grateful for, the people around you, the health that you have. Your health probably isn't perfect. Mine certainly isn't, but you have some. The time that you have. Some of us have more than others, but we have time because we're here. The fact that you can think, the fact that you can process, the fact that you could improve your life, that you do get second, third, and 27th chances at things that you've screwed up before. Let's say thank you for that. Let's appreciate that. Let's be grateful. In engaging into a practice where we expand our gratitude and expand our appreciation, and with all due humility, just drop the entitlement down, we reduce suffering. Because when you're very entitled and very not grateful, nothing is ever good enough. Speaking of psychological research, I'm doing this without citing my sources. Ha ha, I don't have to, it's Philosophy Channel. There was another piece of research. You can look these things up on Google Scholar. It's really easy, just take the keywords. They looked at people's satisfaction between economy, business class and first class. And generally speaking, people's subjective reported satisfaction was lower as you went up the classes. And you'd think, hang on a second, how is that possible? Why would your reported satisfaction be lower when you move from economy to premium economy, from premium to business and business to first? Because the higher in class you go, the more money you're spending and the more you're expecting. The less money you're spending and the less you're expecting, you'll be like, oh, well, I didn't expect this to happen. I didn't expect this to happen. This actually was okay. The higher up you go, the more you're finding fault. The more you're looking to say, is this really, would I really consider this business class? Would I really consider this first class? What's gone wrong here? And it creates a cycle of dissatisfaction where you're focusing on all the things that have gone wrong because you're expecting perfection. When your expectations are diminished and things go okay, you self-report, well, that flight, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. You're in first class and your champagne wasn't the exact brand that you liked and your caviar was too salty, you give it a 2 out of 10 because the entitlement has gone up and the appreciation has gone down. So you create suffering. I'm not pushing Buddhist ideology on you, but certain elements of Buddhist ideology are useful. And we should be thinking in terms of suffering. We should be thinking in terms of dukkha, as it's written in Sanskrit, and trying to reduce that. You've got a much better chance if you set your intention to reduce suffering in your life and the people around you than if you try to live in accordance with modern, consumerist, jealousy-driven, social media-driven narcissistic culture. I want my life to be amazing. Well, you're trying to live in first class, and you're probably going to rate it 2 out of 10, because whatever I give you is probably going to suck. It's probably going to be not the best thing it could be. On the other side of the coin, if you reduce your suffering, reduce the entitlement, and increase your gratitude, whatever I gave you is better than nothing. I gave you a thing, so you can be grateful for that. You reduce your suffering, you increase your sense of satiation with life, and you calm the fuck down. It's a message for today. Stop being a spoiled brat, calm the fuck down. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and your attention. Thanks for joining me on this 30-day challenge. I hope you're enjoying it so far, and I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Cheers.